everybody, it's Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Janet Diane Moya Swerdlow.
And this is our Expansions News Podcast for the very first week of April 2016.
And we celebrate it with snow.
Yeah, you'd never know it was April because it was such heavy snow yesterday and 100-kilometer-per-hour winds or 60 miles an hour wind, blinding blizzard conditions for April. It was just lovely.
It's called global warming.
Yeah, it's a global warming. Yeah, and then we'll see next month, they'll say April was the warmest April ever on record. Like they said January was when it was up to my nose in snow, like minus 30. It was the warmest January ever. They must live in an oven. I don't know. But they should go in an oven. I'll turn it on. Yes. Anyway, I was getting a little carried away.
Well, I have a lot of good stories.
I was phasing out into something.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of good stories, so hurry up with yours.
All my stories are good.
I bet mine are better. We should have them vote.
Why don't you vote people on
whose stories are
better? I know you don't want to insult Janet, but I know the truth. Anyway, so let me go to because some of my stories prove my books.
I hope you didn't steal any of my stories.
Well,
sometimes you do.
Yeah. Anyway, remember in my Blue Blood book, I think it's Blue Blood book, I spoke about how the Etruscans actually came from the Arcturus star system. Well, there's a story recently on the news, in fact it was just even still on today, and it said that a large sandstone slab from the 6th century BC may hold clues to the ancient Etruscans, but the archaeologists can't read it. And it was discovered in an Etruscan temple in Tuscany, that's New York country. It's over 2,500 years old, and Etruscan artifacts are very rare, and not much is known about their language. That's because it's not from Earth. And they hope that this slab will establish a much better understanding of their words and letters. And they believe that this stelae that they found is about a religious cult with monumental dedications. And it might give some clues to the insight of the Etruscan religion. But I've said before that the Etruscans were the one who built that big cemetery in what became Rome. And it was dedicated to the goddess Vaticana, who was the goddess of dead soldiers. And the Catholics built on that and called it Vatican.
Actually, it was the goddess of death. And we wrote about that in True World History and in the Alien Agenda pay-per-view that's on our website.
And so these archaeologists are hoping that this stone will reveal the name of their god or goddess. And they said, again, the artifacts are very rare. And a quote from the museum's website, it's the University of Pennsylvania Museum, and they said that the Etruscan inscriptions on display in their gallery, with an explanation of the importance of the Etruscan language, or understanding of who are these people and where did they come from. Nobody knows where they came from. Well, maybe one day they'll find a spaceship buried under the Vaticana cemetery.
Or they could just read your book.
Or they could.
True
and they're also hoping that they get a better understanding of the Romans, who were the followers of the Etruscans. But I don't know if I put this in the books or not, but the Turian civilization was very much like the Roman civilization. And the Etruscans, who were stranded here, tried to recreate their homeworld culture, and that led into the formation of the Romans. Now, the leader of Turkey, remember I was talking about him?
Erdogan.
Yeah, but I found that I've been mispronouncing his name.
No, what is it?
Because there's a little loop over the G, it's a W.
Oh.
So his name is Erdogan.
Oh, Erdogan.
Yeah, Erdogan. Have you heard of Erdogan? I heard of him. Anyway. He, of course, is the president of Turkey, and he's an authoritarian president of Turkey. And he came to Washington, D.C. to participate in a conference on strategies to defeat the Islamic militant state, ISIS. And according to the news, and I agree, they said that's like inviting the Iranian supreme leader to a conference about anti-Semitism. So, like inviting the fox to the hen house convention.
I hope you're not going to go to do any more seminars in Turkey.
Yeah, I'm not even going to pass through Istanbul airport anymore.
Because I don't think you better do that.
It's not safe anyway.
Of all the things you're saying.
And anyway, interesting because the journalists are calling Turkey Pakistan on the Mediterranean.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm. So the journalists don't like him either. And they said it's not just a matter of jihadis from more than 100 countries transiting through Turkey without being bothered to join ISIS. And of course, the people blame the poor border security when journalists said they photographed Turkey's intelligence service actively supporting and supplying ISIS. So they're helping them. And Turkey gives visa waivers or issues visas on demand for citizens of countries that contribute to ISIS. So, sorry, Erdogan Kenobi, you need to change your ways. And of course, Erdogan, avoid calling hostage takers terrorists, very much like our own president. Both before and after the release, he has defended his invitation for Sudanese President Omar Hassan al-Bashir to visit Turkey despite genocide charges against him by the International Criminal Court. And you know what Erdogan said? A Muslim can never commit genocide.
Really?
Oh, let's ask the Armenians and Kurdish people. And it said that he explained he preferred to meet with Bashir rather than with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Well, I can't blame him for that either, because Netanyahu's a pain in the you-know-what. Anyway, I can't go to Israel now either.
Guess not.
I'm just narrowing my travel potentials, which is actually a good thing.
People have to come to Michigan now.
Yeah, in April snow. Yeah, that's a good idea. Now, and according to this, it gets worse. It says after Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, which is, that area of North Africa, overran northern Mali, French intervention to oust them, this Islamic group. The Turkish ambassador said, Al-Qaeda is very different from terror, and the word terror is a French invention, not the work of Muslims. This is coming from the Turkish ambassador. And when the suicide bombers blew up everything in Ankara, the capital of Turkey, Erdogan put a ban on reporting about it. And the bombers' parents tipped off security forces that their sons had trained in Syria with ISIS and requested the arrest of their own children, and the police refused. In fact, they released one bomber who was caught because he had the constitutional right to travel freely. So, does this sound like you want to go to Turkey? No, in fact, I just read today that all of the tourist areas in Istanbul got deserted.
Really?
Because who wants to go get blown up? So, here's my prediction, and I've done this before. I think Erdogan will be removed eventually by the Mossad, the KGB, the NSA, all and company. Nobody likes him. Because, listen, he wants to start a new Ottoman Empire, and he wants to be the Sultan and ahead of it. And that clashes with the new Soviet Union. So, I don't think Mr. Erdogan is going to be around a long time. Now, let's go to Japan, if you don't mind. It's a quick story because there was a 6.0 earthquake that shook central and western Japan. And a high-speed train service was briefly interrupted. Now, I have information, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it on here ever before or not, that in 2023, Japan will be destroyed. Sink.
I don't know if you've done it on the podcast, but you have on the lectures.
Yeah. And that will be because of volcanic eruptions and earthquakes. And they only have until 2020 to do something about it before it just becomes unstoppable. So
They have
if
to
anyone's
change their
listening in
mind
Japan,
habits.
got to do something about it.
If you're an internal volcano, you have to
And
release
I did a lecture and a conference in Iceland about the volcano, and there hasn't been a big one since then. So Japan can't stop it if they want. Now, let's go all the way to Pluto. That's like where you were born, right? No? Something like that.
People are going to say you're being mean to me.
They say it anyway. If they only knew how you treated me off camera, they'd be sorry for me.
They would.
Yes, they would.
I think that, of course.
Yeah, one day I'm going to have someone follow us around with a camera, unbeknownst to you, and observe and watch, and you'll see.
You're going to get a nanny cam?
No, I'm going to get a Janny cam. Anyway, they found, guess what, on Pluto?
Please.
Frozen.
Pluto's a dog.
Yeah, no, the planet.
From Disney.
A frozen lake that researchers think once harbored liquid nitrogen. Now, the New Horizons spacecraft spotted this lake in July. Of course, that was almost a year ago. Now they're telling us now because they needed time to doctor up the photographs. Yes, and now they're calling it a dwarf planet, which I could go there with something, but I won't. Anyway, in addition to the former lake, they're also seeing channels that may have also carried liquids in the past. Now, how could a little dwarf planet so far away from the sun have liquid anything on it, right? If it's so cold. Well, here's the cover-up story. They said that in the distant past, Pluto's atmosphere, which is currently 1/100,000th of that found at sea level on Earth, must have been 10,000 times higher, and that caused the atmosphere to warm up. So they said high atmospheric pressure makes everything warm and hot and cozy. So here's my question, then how come the bottom of the ocean is cold? If it's under such pressure, shouldn't it be boiling underneath it?
Well, maybe it is with the...
no, it's ice cold down there.
With the volcanoes that are down there.
Well, that's another story. And so it's a cover story. And in my opinion, it proves my point that Pluto is not a natural object, or at least it did not come from there originally, and it was brought here from elsewhere. And this is another cover story for the public by NASA instead of telling the truth. And by the way, NASA was not created to land people on the moon and explore. So it was created to fan out into the galaxy for the new galactic empire, and I have information about that, which will be in a seminar which we don't know how we're going to put that together yet. Okay, now speaking of space, someone sent me a story, I think I shared this with you, that now they are selling space salt. Yes. And I'm going to read the ad. It says, every year, thousands of small meteorites hit the Earth's surface. These space rocks are rich in minerals that are both safe to eat and contain healing properties such as hydrated magnesium sulfates, a popular remedy for joint inflammation. It also contains radiation and poison toxic substances that will kill you. This guy's brilliant. Wait, I'm going to tell you what he calls himself after. It goes on. We're working, it says, we like to think of it as an everyday seasoning from outer space. I think this came from outer space. This guy's in orbit, okay? He says, we're working with 153 partners from all over the world to bring you the best the universe has to offer. Stationed in deserts, forests, and fields in all four corners of the globe, our expert astronomers track meteorite activity in the night sky using state-of-the-art telescopic cameras. When a comet hits the Earth's surface, our retrieval team mobilizes within minutes to recover the star. Okay, if a comet hit the Earth, he would be vaporized.
We would have a big
so right away, this guy doesn't know comet from meteorite to butthole, okay, which is probably what he is. Now, that's number one. Second thing is, if anyone goes to a site where a meteorite fell and takes pieces, they would be arrested immediately because civilians are not allowed to touch that stuff. Okay, this is only for government-approved scientists. Okay, so this guy is full of crap. So there's no space salt people. Now, his name is David McInerney, and he calls himself a chief food adventurer. Just like me. Am I a food adventurer?
Well,
yes,
not quite this crazy.
But wait, he works with a man called Ken Blanchett. And he calls himself specialty food merchant and extraterrestrial expert. People, don't buy this crap, okay? They probably got the salt from the grocery store and put it in the bag.
No, it might not even be salt. It could be ground up
pretty,
dirt.
God knows what it is.
Ground up rock or something.
Don't, this is a scam, people.
Don't eat that.
Please don't send me this anymore. I don't want to hear about it.
And don't eat it.
No. Now, back to something very personal to me.
How personal?
Male pattern baldness.
Oh, I was going to be male something else. Male pattern bald.
Yes, I am suffering from this, and I don't know how much longer I have to live. But let me tell you about another advertisement. This is from CNN. And it says, 2/3 of all men develop some degree of male pattern baldness. And this is a common condition that can lead to thinning hair, receding hairline, or hair loss around the crown of the head.
I thought that was a sign of high intelligence.
It is, actually, but we're not going to go there right now. And there's no cure for male pattern baldness. But if you're unhappy with your appearance, you have options. You want to hear what the options are?
You can get a toupee.
Well, that's one of them.
We could get hair
It's
from
called
Natasha.
grooming aids. Grooming aids are hair extensions. And you can also get a hair piece or a weave and toupee. That's okay. That's all. Next is medication. This is my favorite.
That's what you need.
This is my favorite
Medication.
one. Listen. Because I can take minoxidil. It's a liquid applied directly to your scalp twice a day. And it stimulates the hair follicles and slows down your hair loss. Now, it works better if you're under 40. So,
well, it works for you, then you're only like 35.
yeah. Of course, there are some side effects, which include dry, itchy scalp, flaking or scaling, irritation.
Are you on it secretly?
Chest pain,
Oh, there you are.
rapid heartbeats, swelling, and trouble breathing.
That's you.
Wow, sign me up for this one. But if I don't want to do that one, there's another one called finasteride. Once treatment stops, though, your hair loss will resume. And finasteride also has some side effects. Sexual problems, testicle pain, breast changes, hives or itching, rash, swelling of the lips and face, and depression, and an aggressive form of prostate cancer. Is that all? Let's get 2 bottles of it. People buy this? But wait, there's more. Because if I don't want to do that, there are surgical procedures like hair transplants, I could do that. Scalp reduction, where they will remove a section of my bald scalp and pull my scalp together so it looks like my hair is contiguous.
That's terrible.
There's also scalp expansion, where they stretch the skin of the scalp for a 4-week period. I think I'll try that one.
Why?
Yeah, because it'll blow my mind. Well, listen to me. Hair loss is, what is a symbolism? Loss of personal power. However, alien genetics can also play a factor because you know that most advanced races have no hair. And bald
What
is
does that have to say about me?
not very
I have a
advanced.
lot of
Not very advanced. And bald is sexy. Now, speaking about ridiculous solutions, let's talk about President Obama.
Does that mean you want me to shave my head so I'll be more sexy?
You could be like Sinead O'Connor.
What's she? Or is it a he or a it?
She shaved her head.
Uh-huh.
She's a singer.
Yeah.
She has no culture, people. You don't know what it's like to live with. See? Mm-hmm. Anyway, President Obama is so paranoid about linking terrorists to the Muslim faith that when French President François Hollande used the phrase Islamist terrorism at a meeting in Washington, D.C., they cut the words out in the translation. The White House transcript shows the French leader declared at marker 4:49, the minute mark, that the roots of terrorism, Islamist terrorism, is in Syria and Iraq. But when Obama's administration posted the footage, it was the words Islamist terrorism were missing. And so after initially posting the video, the White House took it down and uploaded it again with the interpreter's voice muted. And Obama has come under fire for refusing to say the words radical Islam or Islamic terrorist. And he makes other references like hands of terrorism, scourge of terrorism, counterterrorism.
But never Islamic.
Never. The White House says the gap was a technical error. Just at that moment. It's unbelievable.
Like the moon stuff.
You just never know. Yeah. And they said nothing was edited out. No, it's just,
erased.
Covered up. A technical issue with the audio during the recording of President Hollande's remark led to a brief drop in the audio recording of the English interpretation. Isn't that convenient? But because people were in an uproar about it, as of 6 p.m. last Friday, the White House has posted the footage with the words Islamic terrorism included. Now, Obama is afraid to mention anything about the 1.6 billion Muslims and connect them to terrorism. And you know who his biggest critic was, who I'm not for him, but I actually agree with what he said. He said that he blasted Obama and said radical Islam is at war with us. For over 7 years, we have had a president who refuses to acknowledge this reality. And the truth is, we can never hope to defeat this evil so long as we refuse to even name it. And I have to agree with that. Why is Obama doing this? Because we know, and I've reported on this, he was raised in a fundamentalist Islamic madrasa in Indonesia, and he has admitted on videos that you can see online where he says, I am a Muslim. And so he's afraid of offending the people of his religion. Now, one more thing I have to tell you about, and that's pot. Not what you will cook in.
How about the pots that you make?
But actually this agrees with what you say, and even what I say, because an international research has revealed that the more cannabis you smoke, the more likely you are to be a lower paid person and have relationship difficulties. The study followed children from birth up to the age 38 and found people who smoked cannabis 4 or more days a week over many years ended up in a lower social class than their parents. And it also said that these smokers, persistent users, ended up with lower paying, less skilled, less prestigious jobs than those who were not cannabis smokers. This was a research by, you'll like this one, Magdalena Cerda at the University of California and at Terry Moffat at Duke University for the journal Clinical Psychological Science. And it says that it shows that cannabis was not safe for the long-term users tracked in our study. Regular long-term users also had more antisocial behaviors at work, such as stealing money or lying to get a job, and experienced more relationship problems such as intimate partner violence and controlling abuse. And they said while heavy alcohol and cannabis use were similarly associated with declines, they found that pot smokers experienced more financial difficulties. And not only that, but I've told you, it's been proven that it destroys your chromosomes and there's a high probability that you will have deformed children. I have a question from a viewer, but we'll do that.
Do mine first. All right. Now you know that I like to do the Donald Trump stories.
Yes.
So, and also this one has to do with Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz was a guest on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show, and he said that if he was given the chance, he would probably hit Donald Trump with his car.
So he's admitting to wanting to attempt murder. Kind of.
He says, if I were in my car and getting ready to reverse and saw Donald in the backup camera, I'm not confident which pedal I would push.
Actually, I think that's very funny.
But the thing is we are getting more violence involved in these campaigns, which we never really saw these kind of things before. So I think we need to take a look at where we as a society are going with these kind of things. And then there was a tombstone with Donald Trump's name engraved on it, found in New York City's Central Park. It was a large granite tombstone, and it had his name on his year of birth with no date of death, found near Tavern on the Green.
Oh, I once had lunch there.
Yeah, I've been there. I think, well, I've been close to it.
Was that you?
No, I don't think we ate there.
Oh,
not together. But the point is that who would have done this? Because, as you know, tombstones are expensive, and this was a big granite
And you
one.
would have a gold one anyway.
Well, but the point being is that somebody had to have money to have done this. So, anyway.
I think it was Hillary.
I don't think
Just
so.
saying.
Anyway, and then Alaska Congressman Don Young explained how the Democratic Party wants to control everyone's thoughts. That if Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders are elected, that, quote, everyone will be under some sort of government mandate to do this and do that, including when to get up, what to eat, what you are thinking, what school you are going to, and what you are going to believe.
That's like what you do to me.
Yeah. Well, but this is about what's happening to society. This is another admission, in my opinion, of mind control.
Yes.
Then, now this was very interesting, because as we know, this is the month of April. And during
I can't tell because there's snow outside.
I know, but during the month of April, April 19th specifically, there's going to be a replica of the Temple of Baal, which will be erected in Times Square and also in London's Trafalgar Square. Because it says that the Islamic State last year destroyed it in the Syrian town of Palmyra. So everyone was outraged by that. And so now, in order to promote the cultural heritage site, they're going to recreate these in New York City.
Are you sure it wasn't ballroom dancing?
Well, isn't this interesting? Because it says this is supposedly in an attempt to preserve history. Well, history, this is gone. So
Yeah, no.
anyway, it says in ancient times, child sacrifice and bisexual orgies were common practice at the altars of Baal. And now we are putting up this monument in the middle of New York City to honor this situation. And let's see, in the ancient world, the names Baal and Bel were interchangeable. They both trace back to the ancient Babylonian god of Marduk. It turns out that the exact day that these replications of the arch are going to be unveiled, it is the beginning of a very important occult festival related to the worship of Baal. April 19th
the day before Hitler's birthday.
is the first day of a 13-day period of time known as, quote, the blood sacrifice to the beast. And that culminates on May 1st, which, as we know, is May Day, which is dancing around the maypole, and the maypole, of course, is a phallic symbol. Okay? Now, according to this, they are saying that once this is done in the second half of April, we will see more blood sacrifices.
I agree.
They said it's the second most Illuminati's most sacred holiday. Do you agree with that?
Well, they never invited me to any of the
So you're not sure? Okay, anyway, it's April 19th is known as the Feast of Moloch. It's an ancient Canaanite god that repeatedly was denounced in the Old Testament. Child sacrifice was the key feature of the worship of this god. A giant statue of this pagan deity is set up in the Bohemian Grove in Northern California every year. It says it's the first day of the 13-day satanic ritual relating to fire. The fire god, Baal, or Moloch, or Nimrod, the sun god. Also known as the Roman god, Saturn, or Satan and the devil. This is the middle of New York City now. And now, this was also interesting because it said April 19th, 1993 was the Waco Massacre.
Right.
Okay, the FBI burned down the compound of this sect, of the Branch Davidians. They killed 76 men, which is 13. Okay, and 76 men, women, and children. April 19th, 1995 was the Oklahoma City bombing.
Right.
April 20th, 1999 was the Columbine High School Massacre where 13 people were murdered.
Right.
April 16th, 2007, Virginia Tech Massacre, 32 and 17, 32 killed, 17 injured, 49, 13. April 16th, 2013 was the Boston Marathon explosions. Then we have
Well, if you add up the 107 injured and the 3, that's
that's 111.
Yeah.
That's an 11. Okay, then this says Tamerlan Tsarnaev was shot to death on April 19th. The explosion and fire on the Deepwater Horizon took place April 20th.
I think I'm getting a little theme here.
So, and also...
Everybody stay home on the 19th and 20th.
Yeah, I think so. Well, anyway, it started here in some places as earlier as the 16th.
Oh my.
But I'm feeling that because they're going to erect this thing on the 19th, it's probably at 19th and thereafter. Then it also says that because 2016 is a leap year, April 20th, which you mentioned, is also Hitler's birthday. April 20th will be the 111th day of the year. There's our 111. Triple numbers are considered to be power dates in the occult world. Well, they are power numbers, period. Then, anyway, I just think that we're going to have to watch this last section of April for whatever's going to be happening.
I think so.
Because once that goes up, and we know this is the ending anyway, 2016 is a 9. So a lot of things are going to be happening from this April 19th date to the end of the month. Well, through May 1st, I would say. So
I think May 1st is also Eastern Orthodox Easter.
Is it? I didn't look.
I think so.
But we do need to be extra vigilant and be sure and use your ultimate protection, your brown mergers, and don't be triggered by anything. And then there was this interesting article, interesting in quotes, about an artist who uses his own blood to create paintings. Sometimes he hooks the spray gun directly up to his veins and paints.
Oh, gosh. That's a lunatic.
Rev Mayers is his name, 39 years old. But the thing is his painting is amazing. I saw his work, but I mean, who would want to paint with your own blood? And so think about that. And then Colorado students will be getting satanic books soon because apparently they have allowed Gideon Bibles to be distributed. So therefore atheists have said they have to distribute their literature, and then the satanic
Atheists
books.
have literature? They don't believe in anything.
Well, maybe that's what they're saying, is you don't
Those
have to
are easy
believe in
books to
anything,
read.
I guess. So a lot of things are going to be happening here in April, which kind of, well, I'm more, but this kind of I wanted to put in the middle. I don't know why, but it's about plants.
Plants?
Plants. It says plants remember you if you mess with them enough.
Oh, I know that.
In the University of Florence in Italy, they decided to see if they could train a plant to remember their behavior. So they chose, they're called those touch-me-not plants, or if you touch them, then their leaves curl up like they're being threatened. So they dropped these onto foam. They weren't hurt, so after a while they stopped curling up because they knew they weren't going to be hurt. So therefore they said that plants are remembering. Then somebody else came in, a molecular plant biologist in Australia, that said they're not learning to remember, but they're actually learning how to forget to do what they are normally, what's within them. I'm just telling you what they're saying. And so, but remember, they're also trying to teach people how to forget as well.
Yeah.
Because that way, if you go through anything that's too traumatic, they have pills and things that can wipe your memory.
Yeah, it's called a Molly pill.
I don't know what it's called.
I just read about that.
But I know that they've been talking about this for a long time. So my feeling is
I read a bottle.
Yeah, my feeling is that this is going to be a thing. And then there are third graders who are accused of plotting to kill a classmate in Anchorage, Alaska, which I mean 3 first graders, sorry. 3 first graders.
First graders, like 6.
Yeah. It said that they were going to get packets of silica gel, which they thought were toxic, which really aren't, but of course could make you sick. And 3 of them got together to kill another classmate, which to me is really, really bad that kids this young can even think these things. So they were suspended, and now, of course, you're going to let them back in.
Suspended? They should be beaten.
I don't know what should happen to them, but I think it's sad. They obviously need some kind of counseling.
They need smack in the head is what they
Something
need.
needs to happen. And then we've been talking about the sudden deaths of natural type of doctors. So here is another one, Dr. Sarah Gilks, who's a postdoctoral research academic. She was a doctor and a voluntary police officer, died suddenly.
A doctor and a police officer?
Yeah, so died suddenly at the age of 32. And the reason that kind of stuck in my mind, besides everything else, is that last week I told you about that mini Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
She was also 32.
But what did this one die of?
They don't know.
They don't know. She just died.
That's what they claim, and the same thing as mini Kim Kardashian last week. Again, they were both in good health, and next thing you know, they're dead. So I think all those things are kind of bizarre. And then, we have the mythical unicorn. But
are they?
Are they? That's the question, because according to the American Journal of Applied Scientists, the Siberian unicorn last walked the earth about 29,000 years ago. Now, apparently, they used to think, and I didn't know that they had even considered these real, but scientists previously thought it was 350,000 years ago. Now they've moved it up to 29,000.
Whatever scientists think, it's wrong.
But they remember what I tell you, every time I report these stories, they keep changing it. They keep changing history in front of us. And it says that the Siberian unicorn really looked more like a rhinoceros than a horse, because it stood about 6 feet, 6 inches tall, measured about 15 feet long, and weighed about 8,000 pounds.
He was from Siberia. Everything's bigger in Siberia.
So, anyway, that was in...
My family's from Siberia.
Anyway, just think it's very interesting. But then, mixed in with this, they also talked about North Korea. Apparently, they claimed they found a unicorn lair back in November of 2012.
The North Koreans said they did?
Back in 2012. And apparently it says that they claim that one of their kings rode the unicorn.
But was it alive or dead that they found?
Well, they said it was a unicorn lair, and they're not really telling you what they found in it.
But people launch against the United States and blow them up!
But they said a rectangular rock carved with the word unicorn lair stands in front of the lair. This was back in 2012.
So they labeled it.
They labeled it.
For future discovery.
Now going back to plants, because I know you want to know more about
I
plants. There's a new study out that says that vegetarian diets raises the risk of heart disease and cancer over generations.
Yes.
It leads to genetic mutations,
yes,
making them more at risk for heart disease and cancer.
Listen, those people are brain dead anyway.
So you have to be really careful about what you eat. You need
I just insulted like 500,000 people.
Yeah, at least. Okay.
I don't care though.
And on the heels of that, now we do have one of our friends, Laura Magdalene Eisenhower, who is, as most people know, the great-granddaughter of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, who claims that being a vegan could have a major impact on whether we ever come into contact with what she calls, quote, sky beings.
We already came in contact with them.
But what was interesting to me is they do talk in this article about that it was rumored that her great-grandfather signed a treaty with extraterrestrial beings in 1953, and now we have Laura Magdalene Eisenhower, who was also bringing this information forward to the people. So we have met her. She's a very lovely lady.
We like Laura.
We do. And then, speaking of aliens, there is going to be an Alien Day on April 26th.
Oh, how should I dress?
Well, this is apparently in Reebok Stompers.
I don't know what that is.
Apparently they were some kind of thing that they wore in some movie.
Aliens wear that?
Well, no, the people in the Alien movie wore that. So now you're supposed to wear that. You're supposed to want that.
I still don't know what that means.
It's some kind of a shoe. A Reebok Stomper. So those are going to be for sale on April 26th, Alien Day.
Oh.
And so it's said it's Century Fox is set April 26th as Alien Day.
Oh, the movie company.
The movie company.
Oh, that means they're going to release a movie.
Well, no, they're going to replace some movies. One's called Alien and one called Aliens with an S. So anyway, they're going to show nationwide screening. They're going to have certain gifts. They're going to have release certain products from you and so on and so forth. But anyway, I thought it was interesting. Everything going on in April, now we have Alien Day.
Yeah.
And then we have Planet X. This is one we've been telling you about. They're claiming it's the mysterious 9th planet.
Oh, blah, blah.
Now they're trying to blame it for wiping out the dinosaurs.
That's not how it happened.
And then, this is also interesting because they said its tilted orbit slowly rotates as it passes through the Kuiper Belt of comets every 27 million years. How do they know that, right? It just happens to be there, I guess. I don't know.
I think the only thing tilted is their head.
And then they're claiming about the 30-year-old theory about mass extinctions on Earth is resurfacing that says it's because of comets, because of this 9th planet. So you know how they
should talk to the guy with the space salt.
And then we have a professor called Mike Brown from Caltech who tweeted a photo that shows the plot of a newly discovered eccentric Kuiper Belt object, KBO.
If they want to know about eccentric object, I'll show the people in my family.
The giant hidden planet is thought to sit on the edge of our solar system, 10 times more massive than the Earth, and so on and so forth.
So we got planet
So it keeps coming back, and then we have another retired university professor of astrophysics who's with the University of Arkansas Department of Mathematical Scientists.
Okay. Arkansas and scientists don't go together in the same sentence.
Suggesting that the planet, also referred to as Planet X, triggered comet showers linked to mass extinctions on Earth at intervals of approximately, guess what, 27 million years.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Alert the press. Oh, that's from the press.
It's from the press. So here we go with more Kuiper Belt. But it's interesting, they keep putting the Kuiper Belt out there, the Kuiper Belt object. Everything now is related to the Kuiper Belt. And where did they hear that before, right? And then, on top of that, they have a new alien planet that's boasting a rare triple sun.
Ooh,
now, we've talked about two suns before. They're calling this one KELT-4AB.
Such a nice name.
Yeah, anyway, so I thought that was
I
interesting.
think we should name one of my grandchildren that. Hi, little KELT-4AB. How are you today?
That might be it. Maybe this planet is one of your grandchildren, for all we
Maybe.
know. And then researchers are finding fish that walks the way that land vertebrates do. So they're now
Fish that walk?
that's what they're claiming, because they're saying, okay, according to conventional science, which of course I don't really believe, but they're saying swimming fish went from swimming to walking.
And then?
well,
And then they went,
then
oh,
they
you know, we
turned,
like something better. We'll go back.
they, you know, evolutionized into something else. So, but apparently in a cave in Thailand where nobody can go,
Thailand.
they discovered a blind fish that walks the way land vertebrates do, and it climbs waterfalls.
It climbs and it's blind.
It's a waterfall climbing cave fish. And they're saying that it might be the mystery of how fish went from being in the water to
yeah, from a waterfall in Thailand.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And now this one you're really going to love.
What?
This is about computer coding. They want to make computer coding a foreign language in school. Seriously. They actually, in Florida, proposed a bill.
Florida, oh my God, that goes along with Arkansas.
Yeah, that would have authorized high schools to offer coding classes to fulfill foreign language credits. Can you believe that?
Oh my God.
They thought this would expose more students to coding and provide them with important skills, where they're saying that sign language is taught, and I don't think it's any different. It says the majority of kids will never use the language they learn, nor will they ever become fluent in that. So if they give them the opportunity
Why not? They can.
to learn a computer language, that could open a door and
Okay, let me translate. Because the teachers in Florida, oh, well, they don't have an educational system. I'm sorry, but that's why it's sinking.
Yeah, well anyway, so the bill in Florida died while in session, in part due to lobbying from foreign language educators. But listen to this, there are other states that are still considering this. Washington State and Georgia.
Oh, that's your country.
And Georgia.
Oh, okay, Georgia.
So, but the point being is now,
Didn't I talk about
this
Georgia
is very
last week?
strange to me. Maybe they're changing what language is as well. They're making it more into binary codes, those kind of things. So we'll find out. And then if you remember last week, unfortunately, I did report about somebody who raped and killed the dog, which was found hanging from a tree. Now this was what was interesting to me. They now have, here's our number 13, a $13,000 reward for this animal. So why would they attach a $13,000 reward?
Oh, I'd like to find the person myself before they do.
Well, I just think it's, obviously it's a criminal action, but the 13,000 to me tells me it has to be something ritualistic and that they're imprinting the entire country with. Because I have told you about bestiality, now it's all over the place. And even though, again, unfortunately, it's coming to us this way, there are places in the world where I've told you that it is legal and where people are allowed to go and have sex with different kinds of animals. I think the Netherlands was one.
Really?
Yeah,
Netherlands? But they're so
I think that was
Nordic.
it. And please excuse me if I had the wrong country, but I'm pretty sure that's where you can go.
We're going to hear from it.
And, but I have looked this up and report on it, so I didn't for this story, but I did want us to let you know on that. And then, now here we are back in North Carolina, that a North Carolina mother whose daughter died, the little girl's name was Macy Grace. And she went to someone who...
Isn't that a singer?
Well, I don't know, but this is... Anyway, long story short, she went to a photographer who puts like ghost pictures of people
that's
on there.
becoming more popular.
Yes, and so anyway, the reason I brought this one up is the mother was eventually convicted of killing this little girl. So anyway, not convicted, but arrested in the possible killing, I have to say that correctly.
But why would she do that with the...
Well, she had these pictures made, the photographer felt bad for her and did these pictures of this little girl walking with her. It was all very sad. Point being is all over the place they're showing ghosts and things like that with people, and so this is another way to get that out. This is more connection to the astral, so I feel that's part of it. Now, this was also interesting to me, Paula Abdul, which I'm sure you are familiar with that name, because that's from our time period. Now, we used to have something called a mini skirt, was if women wear short dresses, they were called mini skirts or mini dresses. Now, instead of doing that, they're saying she's going pantsless. So we have a lot of women now that are out there going topless. So
Wait a minute, so she's just wearing a top and nothing else?
Well, that's what they're saying. She's going pantsless. But if you look at the picture, it really is just a mini skirt. So, but
she's no underwear.
Well, I don't know. I didn't look.
Well, someone needs to investigate this.
The issue is, instead of calling it a mini skirt, they're saying pantsless. Like now we have topless, now we have pantsless. That's the point.
The viewers don't know if I am.
Well, I could say a few things.
You could.
But the point being is they are imprinting people with pantsless. This goes on the way to nudity, full nudity, which is going to continue. And then, you know, it's like this Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner thing.
She looks like a man in drag, I'm sorry.
Okay. So they're thinking, you know, how can we imprint men to wear women's clothes? I know. Let's have them walk a mile in high heels to raise awareness for sexual violence against women.
I wouldn't walk 2 steps in it.
So, St. Xavier's University held a walk a mile in her shoes, and it demonstrated where men wore these high heels.
I want to know what man's going to do that.
They did it.
Well,
There's a picture, you can look. But
those are the guys that are going to also eat space salt.
Probably. But you know, they think, oh, isn't this
And
fun?
vegetarian
And in my opinion, they ought to
And
get
smoked pie.
rid of high heels totally, because it's really bad for your back, period. And then some women I reported, they got their little toes cut off to fit better into the shoes, and all kinds of things, horrible things.
Yeah.
So, you know, why do you want to wear high heels? Anybody, men or women, really.
They have high heels for men, though.
I know they were wearing them. That's
No,
what I'm telling
they're
you.
wearing women's high heels, but they're making high heels for men.
How do you know they're not wearing
Because
men's high
you did a
heels?
story on it a long time ago.
How do you know they're not wearing men's high heels here? We don't know that.
I have to assume
There are
that they
bands
were.
that are wearing women's high heels. There are a lot of men wearing women's high heels right now. They're imprinting them, and men are doing it because...
They're stupid men.
Yes.
You're stupid.
And then the new trend in tattooing, which I've been telling you is really bad,
Oh, yes.
because it's filled with iron and all kinds of metals that you don't want in your body. Now they're having, they're called blackout tattoos, where they're doing the whole
Yeah,
body
I don't understand
in
that.
black,
Why?
and then they're leaving the design open.
I don't get
The
it.
more metal you have, the more you're a walking antenna for satellite transmissions, for health issues.
Yeah, but why would you want your body blacked out?
Why would you want a tattoo, period?
Because it's so pretty.
No, they're not. You know, so if you want to be blacked out, it's the same thing. Lights out, black out. You know, there's nothing there, nobody home kind of thing. It's all symbolism. So don't do that either. No tattoos, please.
Yeah, well, you're very strict.
Yes, I
I
am,
hope
because
you don't become king.
I want them to be healthy, and tattoos are not healthy. And now here, I've kind of been talking to you about this for a while, but here's another story, so I'm going to bring it forward again. That's one scientist think will stop having sex to make babies within 30 years. Because procreative sex will be a thing of the past. Now, I've talked about sex with robots, and so when they talk about sex with robots, they say that people will have sex with robots instead of with each other, and even recreational, I call it recreational sex, but personally I don't think there's any such thing. But anyway, recreational sex will be considered low level. So,
I don't get it.
what they're saying is that people will be able to provide the raw materials, sperm and skin cells and so forth. The prospective parents will go to scientists, they'll put them together, and they don't say what will happen. So I don't know if this is going to be implanted in the woman or in a
artificial womb.
or in the artificial womb.
Like
I don't
the
know.
aliens do.
Yeah, within 20 to 40 years, most people in developed countries will stop having sex for the purposes of reproduction. And the parents will be told, the prospective parents will be told how healthy and attractive and clever their children will be, and they'll say how smart they'll be, and so on and so forth. They won't have any hereditary disease. They'll have almost perfect children. So of
That's
course,
what my parents did to make me.
everybody will think that that's what they want to do, because they need to do that now, because you want your children to be advanced.
And then, you know, you never have to worry about calling the person the next day.
And my favorite story. You'll love this one. Now this comes from the hometown of one of our friends, David Icke, the Isle of Wight.
The Isle of Wight.
I wonder if they consulted him for this. They have a national museum.
A Pussy? Oh no.
The National Poo Museum
Only you would find that.
at the Isle of Wight Zoo features real-life exhibits from both animals and humans.
From the island?
No, from all over the world.
They
Real-life
import
examples, and they talk about how that they have to dry them out, and they have some of them in resin spears.
Well, it's not very British, is
And
it?
they show all kinds because, now firstly, like if you used to live out in the woods or something, you used to have to identify animals by their poop, because then you would know who was around. But now, I don't know why exactly they're doing it here, but people have lost that skill.
Poop identification?
Yes.
They don't teach that in school anymore.
They don't, but they should.
Like when
because
I was young.
if you were hungry and you were lost in the woods or the jungle, and then you could see certain
Of course, the
poop,
worst part was the homework.
and then you would know what kind of animal was out there, if you wanted to run or hunt or hide or whatever.
Or step in it.
Yes, people don't know these days. So I thought this is actually
Throw it at someone you don't
something
like.
very important, that we don't want this skill to be lost. So we have a national museum in the Isle of Wight. Okay.
That's going to really do wonders for British tourism.
People will go there to see.
Yes.
All
So
right.
now I have only one question
Right.
from a listener.
Yeah.
Because I scared everybody else away. You know, because I was
Is that it?
Yeah, but you
Maybe,
know what?
maybe they just don't like your answers, and so they don't want
Well,
you
not
to
gonna
answer
like
their
this one.
question.
Not gonna like this answer.
Why?
Because the question is, and it took me like an hour to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Because there was no punctuation person. You need to punctuate. These people don't know how to write.
well, the thing is if I had that question, I could answer it in like 5 seconds.
I'm going to answer in fact. Listen,
Yeah,
the
but you
question.
do an hour to figure
okay,
it out.
back to me.
Only 2 seconds
Did
for
anyone
me.
write you a question? No, they
No.
wrote me a question.
Yeah, because they knew that I would answer it and I wouldn't be mean.
Oh, blah, 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 blah. Go to the museum and then come back. Anyway, the question is, what kind of world do you think we should be living in? And in this world, what would people be doing?
I could answer that.
Brilliant. I'm the
what I
emperor
was
and
gonna
they're
say.
all my servants and loyal.
And give you gifts and money, right?
Correct?
Right. Or is
Perfect
Or
world.
is money a gift?
Huh?
Or is money a gift?
What? I don't care. Just give it to me. And it's a perfect world. What a beautiful world it would be.
Please don't sing.
Person. I'm not going to say the person's name because it doesn't. It just has a name and initial. It doesn't say where they're from. But this seems like
There's even a phone number. I can't call them.
no. But this kind of seems like a California question. You know, what kind of world should we live in? What would people be doing there? I shouldn't do that. I'm sorry, person. I'm just, I couldn't resist. Anyway, it's an impossible question because we should be living in a world that suits what we need. And you are. So you already live in that world. The earth is the way it is because of the collective mind patterns of all the people. And there is no one answer. You create the world that your mind projects out. So, is that what you were saying?
Yeah, that's what I would say because it doesn't matter. I mean, we have people who live in opulence. Look at the Trumps, and we have people who are suffering.
You look at the Trumps.
There's every situation that you could possibly imagine in this world, and it's whatever your mind pattern projects. That's what's going to come to you. So that's your perfect world. I agree with your answer.
Woo! She agrees with my answer.
Yeah.
Well,
If we had a button here, we could, like they do on the shows, we could like bing on it and make a buzzer sound or
well,
something.
like you do on my head sometimes.
Yeah, but you don't make the right kind of sound. I like the buzzer
Yeah,
sound.
usually I just pass out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You don't see that. That's on camera.
So anyway, you want to talk
Okay.
about that?
No.
No?
No, I'm just teasing. Of course I do. You give me a chance. So anyway, we are getting close to closing out the reservations for my Italy trip.
The Indian reservations or the?
Italy
Oh.
reservations. The Italy reservations for my
But
trip.
you're closing down all the Native American reservations.
Yeah, no, we're going to be closing the reservations down because we have to rent the vans, and we don't know how big or how many until we have the correct number of people that are coming with us, and I have to put those reservations in. So if you're coming on the trip, this means as this is getting close to the last call, you have got to contact Patricia, customersupport@expansions.com, and you have to quit thinking about it, and you've got to make your decision. And if you're going, then you've got to put your money where your mouth is, and you've got to do it so we can get the vans rented.
Don't make me come over there.
So that needs to happen. And then, of course, you want to talk about your summer
Well,
plans?
before that, you have this coming up.
Yeah, but it's too late for
It's
that.
too late?
Yeah, we're starting already.
Ah.
By the time they read this, it's be gone.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so they
So-
you missed out the fasting opportunity. Now you're going to have to wait until
Yeah,
fall.
no,
But
I
you know what I do have coming up? If you missed out on fasting, I still have the self-healing group webinar that they can
When is
join.
that?
That starts somewhere in April.
Oh, it does?
They have to go to the website because I didn't write that
Oh.
date down. But that's ongoing April and May. That'll be their last chance until September. That's ongoing.
Okay.
They can join anytime.
All right.
They can like our Facebook fan pages. They can.
And there's a new artwork on there.
But you're not supposed to tell people that. They have to go there and like
Well, now
discover it.
they'll want to go.
Maybe
What's he talking
not.
about?
Maybe they'll be upset because it's not what they're used to.
I don't care if they're upset or not. They upset
You're
me.
supposed to let them be surprised. So like our fan pages, join our membership on the site.
And in May and June, I will be in Iceland, Holland, Poland, and Germany in that order. Is it
Okay.
going to be on the site?
Well, eventually when we get all the information.
Yeah.
Then in September we will be having our week-long September Spectacular.
Oh, but there's something before that.
What?
Because in August, I will be a key speaker at a conference in London.
It's called a keynote speaker.
Keynote, whatever. And also after that, I'll be going to the Russian Institute in Bonn, Germany, to do radionics seminar there.
All right, so you have other things coming up. So watch the website. We always have lots of good things going on. Then in September, we have the September Spectacular, another week-long class where we will be giving you extremely unique information on hyperspace oversoul tools. It's a beautiful time here in Michigan. And
Not
the
snowing
leaves
in
are,
September,
no,
no.
the leaves are beautiful, the bugs are gone, we'll be going to the lakes, we'll be going to some of the nature preserves around here, we will be learning from nature. We're going to be teaching a lot of very practical and useful information based on nature. Maybe we will do some poo identification.
Oh my. Well, I won't say anything, but I think you've already said too much. Anyway, with that, I will say, I won't be here next week. So you'll be doing it alone, and I'll be here the week after that. Yes? Or not, maybe you're going to replace me. Well, that's fine. If you want her to replace me, let her know. And see you next week.
Bye.